Hi guys, it's your social scientist here, and today we shall investigate the life and work of Dr. Sebi. Was he a healer or a fraudster? Let's dive in and find out. Now it is important to state that I will not be making any judgment, only sharing with you facts in the hopes of enlightening you. First, I'll give you a brief background on Dr. Sebi and how he rose to fame. Dr. Sebi was born Alfredo Bowman in Honduras in 1933. As a young man, he experienced a mysterious illness that prompted him to seek natural remedies and alternative healing methods. He eventually moved to the United States in the 1970s, gaining a following among people interested in alternative medicine. Now, let's be clear, Dr. Sebi was no ordinary doctor. In fact, he wasn't a doctor at all. He didn't have a medical degree, and his methods were often considered unconventional by mainstream medical professionals. But that didn't stop him from making some pretty bold claims about his ability to heal people. As you can imagine, the claims made by Dr. Sebi did not make him particularly popular with the medical establishment. He was often accused of being a fraudster, taking advantage of vulnerable people. But even with the controversy surrounding him, Dr. Sebi continued to gain a following among those who believed in his methods. Dr. Sebi's rise to fame was partly fueled by his celebrity clients, who reportedly included Michael Jackson, Lisa Left Eye Lopes, and Eddie Murphy. He also gained attention for his numerous court battles with the medical establishment, including a high-profile case in which he was charged with practicing medicine without a license. Despite his legal troubles, Dr. Sebi continued to practice until he died in 2016. And even today, his methods continue to be debated, and his legacy continues to live on. Let's dive into Dr. Sebi's court cases and their findings. Dr. Sebi had 4 major legal battles. The first was in 1988 with the New York State Attorney General's office. Dr. Sebi was arrested in New York City for practicing medicine without a license. According to reports, he was selling herbal remedies to treat various illnesses. Although it's wildly believed that these particular charges were later dropped, I have read through court documents, which I have attached to this video, that prove that Dr. Sebi signed a consent agreement with the New York State Attorney General in which he agreed to stop making false or misleading claims about his herbal products and had to pay a fine of $1,000. In 1993, Dr. Sebi was arrested, and once again, it was in New York. He was charged with several offenses related to practicing medicine without a license. According to court records, Dr. Sebi had been advertising and selling his services as a natural healer and herbalist, claiming he could cure various illnesses and diseases using his unique methods and remedies. Dr. Sebi's trial began in May of 1993 and lasted several months. During the trial, the prosecution argued that Dr. Sebi was not a licensed medical doctor and therefore had no legal authority to diagnose or treat patients. They presented evidence that Dr. Sebi had been selling herbal remedies and supplements to patients, and that he had made various claims about their effectiveness in treating serious illnesses, including cancer, AIDS, and diabetes. The defense, led by Dr. Sebi himself, argued first that
he was trying to show the court that I said that I cure AIDS. I never make that statement. The ad read, AIDS has been cured by the OSHA Research Institute.
And that he was not practicing medicine in the traditional sense, but offering his clients a holistic and natural approach to healing that did not involve traditional Western medicine or pharmaceuticals. They pointed out that many of Dr. Sebi's clients had experienced significant improvements in their health after following his recommendations and using his remedies. Despite the defense's arguments, the jury ultimately found Dr. Sebi guilty of all charges. He was sentenced to several months in jail and a substantial fine. The judge in the case also ordered Dr. Sebi to cease all advertising and sales related to his healing practice and to refrain from claiming that he could cure or treat any illness without proper medical credentials. Now this is where things get a bit strange. It is stated that Dr. Sebi was sentenced to 78 months in prison, but he did not do any prison time despite being found guilty because he was able to reach a plea agreement with the government. In exchange for his guilty plea, he was sentenced to time served and ordered to pay a fine of $1,500. Little is known about how this case was concluded, but we do know that this case was settled in court. The decision was made by the judge in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York, and because of the uncertainties in this case, it has led to whispers of controversies. In 1994, Dr. Sebi was again arrested in Los Angeles for allegedly practicing medicine without a license and making false therapeutic claims about his products. The charges against him included treating several patients with a cure for AIDS, cancer, and other serious diseases. Dr. Sebi pleaded not guilty to the charges and defended himself in court. He argued that he was not practicing medicine but providing dietary advice and herbal remedies to help people maintain good health. He also claimed that his remedies were not intended to cure diseases but to detoxify the body and strengthen the immune system. During the trial, the prosecution presented evidence that some of Dr. Sebi's patients had died while under his care, and that he had been ordered to stop making false claims about his products by the New York Attorney General's office in the past. Despite his arguments, Dr. Sebi was found guilty of practicing medicine without a license and making false therapeutic claims. He was ordered to stop making such claims and to pay a fine of $1,500. It's worth noting that many of Dr. Sebi's supporters believed that the charges against him were unjust and that he was being persecuted for his beliefs in unconventional healing methods. However, the court found him guilty based on the evidence presented in the case. On the 28th of May 2016, Dr. Sebi and his associate Pablo Medina Gamboa were arrested on money laundering charges at the Juan Manuel Galvez de Roatan airport, after they were found to be carrying $37,000 in cash and had no explanation. Dr. Sebi was released pending a court hearing on the 6th of June 2016, but was rearrested on the exact money laundering charges. He was held for several weeks in a Honduran prison while his family attempted to obtain his release. He fell ill, and after police officials realized the severity of his condition, they transported him to a hospital. Bowman died of complications of pneumonia on the 6th of August 2016. There has been much speculation about his death, but that's unimportant for this video. Now all of his court cases in the United States of America have resulted in him being found guilty or taking a suspicious plea deal. But in 2016, a lawsuit was filed against Dr. Sebi's company, alleging false advertising of its products. The lawsuit claimed that the company falsely advertised that its products could cure, mitigate, or treat various diseases, including herpes, lupus, and cancer. The case was filed in California and named the company and several individuals associated with the company as defendants. However, Dr. Sebi passed away before the case was resolved. In 2018, the judge dismissed the case, who cited the lack of evidence that the products were ineffective or that consumers had been misled. The judge noted that the case was based on a lack of scientific evidence rather than any actual harm caused to consumers. The case was therefore dismissed, and no penalties or fines were imposed on Dr. Sebi's company. Now let's talk about the controversy surrounding Dr. Sebi's remedies. Some people have claimed that his methods are not backed by scientific evidence and that some of his remedies could even be dangerous. Some experts have warned that following his methods could be harmful, particularly if people forgo conventional medical treatments in favor of his remedies. I know many people had sworn that his methods had cured them. It is also crucial to mention that before Dr. Sebi died, he was in excellent health, as seen in this video, which strengthens not only those who believe in his methods, but also the conspiracy that he was purposely put in a place that would deteriorate his health, leading to his death. So what do we make of all this? The truth is, it's difficult to say. Dr. Sebi's methods were undoubtedly controversial, and his legal battles with the medical establishment did little to quell the debate over his work. Some people swear by his remedies, while others dismiss him as a fraud. One thing is sure, however, Dr. Sebi was a complex and fascinating figure, whose legacy continues to be felt to this day. Whether he was a healer or a fraudster, his story serves as a reminder of the power of alternative medicine and the importance of remaining skeptical but open-minded about new and unconventional approaches to healthcare. Thanks for watching my video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'd really like to hear what you have to say on what I've touched upon. And if anybody has used his remedies, please let me know in the comments section what the results were.